this meeting to order. Kim, does it sound like I'm picking up? All right, excellent. Okay, welcome everyone. It's Tuesday, February 17th. This is the regular board meeting of Cook County School District 130. We are at the Eisenhower Co-op in Crestwood. If we could please, Ms. Martinez, could you do a roll call?
Sure. Mr. Baining? Absent. Mr. Burmeister? Absent. Mr. Gasmere?
Here.
Ms. Kaliski-Roll?
Here.
Ms. McGinnis?
Here.
Mr. Warner?
Here.
We have quorum. Thank you. Sorry. So many absences. All right, we'll move on now to our Pledge of Allegiance, if everyone could please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on now to our comment section of the agenda, and we'll begin this evening with board member comments. At this time, do any board members have comments?
Yes. I just have something I'd like to read. So the district firmly denies the allegations that continue to be made by the SEIU Local 73. These statements misrepresent the facts and appear intended to influence ongoing collective bargaining discussions. Labor negotiations should take place at the bargaining table between the union's representatives and the board's representatives. Instead, SEIU has chosen to engage in public personal attacks. Our leadership team continues to bargain in good faith with the union and remains committed to reaching an agreement that is fair to employees, fiscally responsible, and is in the best interest of our students and community.
Thank you. Are there any other board comments?
Yes, I have some. As a board member, a member of the negotiation team, I am speaking for myself when I say that we should have addressed the public statements surrounding the negotiations sooner. The board chose to stay focused on negotiations and allowed statements to remain publicly online and media without response. That silence allowed inaccurate information to circulate. The community has been told things by this union that do not reflect what has actually occurred in negotiations. From the beginning of the process, much of the discussion has taken place publicly rather than at the bargaining table. And the public messaging has not matched the documented record. For the first meeting forward, the board district team have came prepared every time. We've arrived with proposals, responses, and clear readiness to negotiate. We have records that show this, and those records do not support the public claims being made. Rather than remaining focused on bargaining issues, significant effort has been placed on public messaging outside the negotiation process. This includes petitions, public statements, and repeated information requests. The district has responded appropriately to those requests and has continued to negotiate throughout. The statement that both sides have shown some willingness to negotiate is not supported by the record. Repeating the claim publicly does not change what had occurred at the bargaining table. It is also important to note that the board and district team has successfully negotiated 3 other contracts this year. In those negotiations, the parties stayed focused on the process, came prepared to each meeting, and worked through issues directly. That approach resulted in agreements. The board and district team remain ready to negotiate and remain prepared to do the work necessary to reach an agreement. What needs to change is the continued reliance on public commentary that does not reflect the record, rather than substantiated engagement at the bargaining table. The community deserves clean information, a professional process, and a progress toward resolution. You're probably aware these buildings are in terrible need of deep cleaning by the very minimal work that is being done by the bargaining unit here. We may have to bring in outside services to restore our buildings to their standards as they wait when they want to do all their work. Nobody entering these facilities should encounter some of the mess that has been cleaned, by district employees, teachers, and we greatly thank them for keeping these conditions up to our standards at this facility.
All right, thank you. Are there any other board member comments? All right. Hearing none, we will move on to our public comments. And I just have a little statement to read before I open the floor here. We are now opening the floor for public comment. If you would like to address the board, please fill out the designated sign-in sheet at the check-in table that's in the hallway. Additionally, please be aware that comments made during this time are not protected for potential legal liability. As a reminder, the board will not respond to or engage in dialogue with individuals choosing to make a public comment. The board reserves the right to limit the length of public comments and has exercised that right for this meeting. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes for a total of no more than 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. We also ask that all comments be made respectfully and in a manner that does not disrupt the meeting. With that said, we will invite our first speaker to address the board, and that is Mr. Taylor. And if you could please, I think there's a microphone at the podium.
Good evening. I'm Doug Taylor. I am one of the reps that just got comments made about from our school board tonight. So changes some of what I wanted to talk about, but the essence is still the same. And I've spoken with you before about how our members feel they're being treated. And we've been told that we can't negotiate feelings. Well, they tell stories of discipline that is arbitrary, discipline that is excessive, training that is lax, equipment that is not up to par, no clear process for making sure that those orders get filled. So we have many things that if the administration chooses to up their game, so to speak, when it comes to managing and handling the situations of the buildings, then that could be remedied. But I remind you that you, the school board, is in charge of this. You select these administrators to carry out your mission. It's incumbent upon you to know how your employees feel about working here. And in the times I've come to the podium, I have not spoken about any of the bargaining things. I have not spoken to any board members about bargaining things. The threat, the accusation that we've created a bypass is just not true in my experience. And I've worked with many school boards. I understand how this works. So even in these difficult working conditions, our members, your custodians and maintenance staff, still cares a lot about the kids and the buildings they're at. They care about those conditions. And so I asked the board, dig into this so that you can say for yourself that the conditions, I'm glad to talk to anybody about the stories you hear versus the stories I hear. Because you need to ask those questions for yourself so that you can answer those questions. And I know you have a difficult job. You have many constituencies to deal with. But you have the power in this situation, the power to check for yourself to see if this SEIU rep who's telling you about these conditions, about whether that's true or not. You need to investigate that on your own. And not just trust what you hear. Because, I hear a lot of stories about how things are handled. We've got people showing up at buildings, they don't know what they're supposed to do. They just show up when they're assigned, and so that's what we have. But remember, you have the power to hold the administration accountable for the conditions of the employees that are here. It is your responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on now to Mr. Baldwin.
You hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to talk to you tonight. I'll say my responses
but I wanted to talk to you about short staffing in the schools and the effect that that's having on the schools. Our members have been reporting for some time that they show up to work and one of their coworkers is absent and no one is sent to cover for them. Our members care about the work that they do. They want to take pride in their work, but some of the buildings that are designed to have 3 now have 2, or designed to have more and have fewer custodians. There are not enough employees in many of the buildings to adequately do the work. As I say, our members want to take pride in their work. They want to do a good job. They care about the conditions of the buildings for students, teachers, for other staff, and for themselves. Our members are in these buildings for 8 hours during their day also. They don't want to work in a building that is in a poor condition or unsanitary or anything like that. But they aren't superhuman. There's only so much that they each can do. As I mentioned, the shorter numbers of staff and the lack of coverage for absences, but in addition to that, management has created a situation where the later shift, the 2 to 11 shift, is seriously understaffed. It's not fully staffed to do the work that it is assigned to do unnecessarily. You know, there are other options. You have, for example, calling folks to do overtime, but many of our members report to us that they don't want to do overtime. And the reason for that is because they're not given enough time to do the work that they're assigned on those shifts. Sometimes they're assigned a task and then they're disciplined for not doing a different task. They're written up for doing something that they were never asked to do. Or they're being accused of not completing their work when they were given much more work than one person can do in the time allotted. Our folks, if you give them the time to do the job and clear instructions and manage the movement of, or the location of where they are in which building and the respect that they deserve as professionals, they will be willing to work extra. And it's well known that the way to get extra work out of folks is to treat them with respect.
3 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on now to our next comment. Ms. Tisch.
Good evening. 27 years ago, I began my career in Cook County School District 130 as a teacher. I was proud to serve alongside dedicated colleagues, supportive administrators, committed families. Over the years, I was honored to be promoted to assistant principal, principal, and ultimately assistant superintendent. Throughout my career, I have been recognized by multiple superintendents and union leaders as a positive contributor to this district. I've always believed this would be the place where I would complete my professional journey in service to students. Recently, however, coming to work has been becoming increasingly difficult. For the past several months, and more broadly over the past year, I have been the subject of repeated public criticism and false statements made by SEIU Local 73 representatives and supporters. My name has been used in public forums in a manner that I believe is misleading and damaging. These statements have questioned my integrity and my professional conduct, even though I've consistently received excellent evaluations and have never been disciplined in my 27 years here in Cook County School District 130. In one instance, a petition presented to the board included signatures of individuals who did not reside within the district boundaries or were signed by minors. I've had also been informed that some individuals may not have fully understood the nature of the petition they were signing. It has been explained to me that people who may have signed the petition were told it was to improve streets in the communities and the schools. These actions, combined with repeated public remarks, have created a narrative that does not reflect the facts and cause personal and professional harm. I want to be clear, I do not supervise custodial support staff on a day-to-day basis, nor issue employee discipline. I implement procedures. Supervisors are responsible for addressing performance concerns in accordance with district policy and collective bargaining agreements. Yet, When accountability measures are implemented, my name is frequently stated in public comments as a source of grievance. I believe this has resulted in targeted and ongoing harassment. I fully respect the roles of unions and the collective bargaining process. Earlier in my career, I was a union member myself. I understand the value, the importance of advocacy, and due process. However, there is also a responsibility to engage in that process truthfully and respectfully. Public accusations that misrepresent the district practices or individual actions undermine productivity in negotiations and ruin trust within our school community. I previously recommended that the Board of Education issue a formal statement affirming that we bargained in good faith, and deny inaccurate allegations. While I had hoped that this would bring clarity to the situation, the statement was never read aloud, and the constant attacks continued. Meanwhile, I had been advised that investigations into district practices were initiated based solely on these public claims. That has been deeply discouraging. Board Policy 2:260 outlines uniform grievance procedures for employees. It is my belief that the spirit of that policy, including protections against bullying and harassment, should apply to all members of our school community. Disagreements should be addressed through established processes, not through repeated public attacks on my character. Most importantly, a focus must remain on our students. When internal conflicts escalate publicly, it distracts from our shared mission and impacts our school climate. Our children deserve adults who model professionalism, accountability, and collaboration. I stand before you this evening not to escalate conflict, but to respectfully ask for fairness, transparency, and adherence to policy. I dedicated my entire professional life to this district and to the children we serve. I remain committed to that mission, and I simply ask to be treated with the same professionalism and respect that I've always strived to extend to others. I do have evidence that shows that I have been harassed. I've been publicly intimidated and bullied throughout grievances filed by SEIU Local 73. I would like to know how the Board of Education will address my concerns. Thank you, and I look forward to your response.
Thank you. All right, seeing no other public comment, we will move on to commendations and recognitions. First off is our February 26th personnel recognition, and Dr. Chirillo is up.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
I'm accused of not being loud enough, so I just wanted to clarify that's good. So, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to highlight the work of Violetta Salgado, who is an exceptional social worker who brings skill, dedication, and heart to everything she does in our district. Violetta serves as both a social worker in the district, and she doubles as a parent of students who attend our district. We're grateful for that, giving her unique perspective and a deep, genuine commitment to supporting students, families, and staff. Violetta is a strong social worker who leads with humility, consistently demonstrating the ability to problem solve effectively while advocating for the best interests of students and families. She's a natural mentor and coach. She provides guidance and support to colleagues both within her school and across the district. She's an invaluable team member who fosters collaboration, growth, and professional development among her peers. Her advocacy extends beyond individual cases. She approaches her work with integrity, empathy, and a solution-oriented mindset, ensuring that every student and family feels heard, supported, and empowered. Her professionalism, compassion, and expertise make her a trusted resource and a driving force for the positive outcomes throughout our district, Cook County School District 130. It's a pleasure to have her here, pleasure to work with her, and I'm so grateful for her. I believe she is here tonight. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. All right, we'll move on now. I don't believe we have any student board recognitions. I'm looking at Ms. Hill. Is that correct? None tonight?
Yes, so we're gonna be prepared for later
Okay.
in the agenda. So
Okay.
next month we'll have the great day. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we'll move on. Our next agenda item is actually a board leader recognition. And I'm wondering, Dr. McKay, would you like to speak to this one?
On March 4th, 2026, the Illinois Association of School Boards will recognize Mr. William Warner for his participation in the 2025 Board of Year Recognition Program. This honor is awarded to board members who have completed approved professional development activities and who demonstrate sustained commitment to continuous learning and effective school board governance. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Bill. We'll move on now to our presentation. This evening, Ms. Windrum is going to give us a Black History Month presentation.
Good evening, everyone. This year, well, first of all, yeah, everybody do one hey. Got one. This year marks 100 years of Black history, a legacy that began with Dr. Carter G. Woodson, known as Father of Black History. In 1926, Dr. Woodson believed that African American history deserved to be taught, celebrated, and remembered. At a time when our stories were excluded, he made sure our voices were heard and our contributions were honored. Today, our students present a dance inspired by his vision, showing that history is not only written in books, but also expressed through movement, pride, and purpose. 100 years later, his work lives on through us.
Rise
thank Superintendent Dr. McKay, the Board of Education, my principals, Principal Braver and Assistant Principal Wright, for your continued support of cultural learning, student expression, and opportunities that allow history to come alive for our students. This presentation will be featured in the Blue Island Library Black Culture Night on YouTube beginning February 14th through 28th. And in closing, as we honor 100 years of Black history throughout the district, let us be reminded that Dr. Carter G. Woodson, Woodson's greatest legacy is not just what he started, but who carries it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on now to our consent agenda. Are there any items anyone would like removed from the consent agenda this evening?
I would like to remove item J from consent.
Okay, item J, just confirming that is the resolution approving the contract of the administrative non-union personnel.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other items anyone would like removed? Okay, hearing none. May I have a motion, please, to approve the consent grouping for this meeting, items 5A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, skipping to K, L, M, N, O, P, and Q. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Daning?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister? Sorry. Mr. Gasnier?
Yes.
Ms. Kaliski Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez? Yes. Ms. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, motion approved. Thank you. I'm sorry, I just had a moment of blanking out. For Jay, did you want to table it to talk about immediately now, or do you want to table it to a different point in the meeting?
Table to discuss and close.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we will move on then to our new business. And our Student Advisory Board is our first item here of new business. So the intent of this was to allow our Student Advisory Board a space to share their perspectives and ideas and recommendations for improving the Student Advisory Board for the next school year. And I would like to commend Natalia for being our Student Advisory Board representative who is here and present this evening. So I will turn it over to you.
Do you want us to go?
Sure, wherever you're most comfortable. If you would like to stand at the podium, that's great.
We'll straight
Sure,
together,
yeah,
you
little,
know?
yes, for sure.
No, you got it, you got it. I apologize, we are small in numbers today. We had 2 home volleyball games in our district. We had a siblings' birthday dinner, and then we had a dance class. So I mean, it's tough, so we're happy that Natalia is here. So the Student Advisory Board was tasked with sort of looking at different ideas or ways to perhaps change some of the structure with the board. So I facilitated the questions that came up, and the students came up with their responses for that. So I'll sort of read the question, and we'll let Natalia give the overall how the group felt about some of the ideas or changes or improvements, right, to the board. Okay, do you want to put those I got a aerobic on? And here we go. Okay, so the first suggestion or practice that we sort of looked at was rearranging the agenda to start with reports and new business, with the focus on including the students on the discussion of new business.
We were wondering if this meant the students ask questions on new business or are asked opinions on new business.
You want us just to keep going? And then so there's really like a lot of this and then their questions after. So it was really great. Okay.
Sure.
The students have an opportunity to report during their routine reports with their thoughts on agenda items or issues at the school.
We are happy to have the opportunity to be able to discuss these and talk to the board, and we think this will really give us a employees, we are happy that we are able to share positive things going on in our schools, as well as things that appear to be issues or big ideas that we see or hear from our kids.
The next item that we discussed as our group is that the students would be excused before the consent agenda and voting. And that's in place already, so the students are louder. Okay, here we go. So this is another one that we really talked a lot about and didn't quite land the plane. But the idea is that students could be on a 2-year term. So that would be 1 7th grader and 1 8th grader from our 3 middle schools. So there is some consistency and institutional knowledge from the kids' side of things. Dig deeper.
We thought that 7th graders may not be mature enough. Essentially, the 7th grader would get voted in at the end of 6th grade as well. And being on the student advisory board for 2 years, we thought could be a good idea and seen as more of a commitment and consistency with the board. And we were also wondering, would they take it seriously for 2 years? For the fourth one, we were wondering if you cannot be inducted into NJHS until your 7th grade at the earliest. So does it make sense to be able to be on the student advisory board if you cannot even be in NJHS yet? NJHS had helped some of our students prepare for the student advisory board. And we found more conflict for a 7th grader and an 8th grader on the panel.
And then a couple other thoughts is that, they like the idea to be able to ask questions, because sometimes, I think the consensus was they're sitting and often not maybe exactly sure as to what is going on, in the meetings. And then,
We were wondering if elections should be at the start of the school year instead of the end of the year.
And that's our consensus. So maybe more questions and answers, but food for thought. And I think the group is definitely open to refining structures as needed.
Natalia, can you send us these, like, an email?
I could send it
That would be
to,
great.
yeah, and then.
Also, they are very great ideas. I think as a board, we're letting the body down by having the functions that are surrounded by the meeting. We maybe need to do a better job of maybe moving the meetings back a little bit, or finding a way to accommodate the students to be here. Because as you know, a lot of them have other commitments and aren't here. We want them to gain that knowledge. And if they're not being here, watching it on the video is not the same as being here. So we may have to have some conversation to try to do some due diligence to make them successful by maybe arranging some things so they can be here. I know there's a lot going on with all the families out there, but I feel it's real important to get them introduced to wanting to be part of the community at an early age.
This is the 3rd year of the board, and it's like I say, it's really such a great problem to be had, but this particular student advisory board, the students are in all the things, So it is hard. We've even been flexible with our meetings, and we've been getting on like Zooms or Google Meets at 7 at night, because that seems to be when everybody's, come back from the event. So it is the I don't know the answer yet, but every time we meet, we're trying to refine that,
We could, as a board, try to brainstorm, because we never want somebody to quit a commitment that they've been going to. That's not the point of it.
I'm wondering too, do Tuesdays happen to be busy activity nights and maybe Wednesdays are quieter activity nights? Or maybe we could be a little flexible as a board too and look at when the student activities fall, and if we were to change our meeting night, perhaps we could be able to better accommodate them. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the time that we'll send these, and then we can collaborate.
Yeah, Natalia, thank you so much. That sounds excellent. If we could see that in writing. And then just a quick sort of procedural question. I think for you, Ms. Hill, is ultimately the decision, certainly some of these rearranging the agenda, that falls on the board, but it sounds like some of these might fall under the purview of the Student Advisory Board. Is that correct? Like determining when to hold elections, is that a decision that is under your purview, or is that under the board's purview?
I think personally, it could be a joint. I'm happy to give like my, ultimate thought, on that. And for me, really thinking about when the elections, I really like the idea of it being in August, really versus in May.
Yeah.
So kids have a sense for, when they're going to start, so I did like when the kids brought that up, because it was almost like they had forgotten about it over the summer. They were elected, and then it was like a little bit forgotten about, but then I like the idea of them being inducted, of course, so they're ready to go at the very start of the school year. So I think the more ongoing, conversation decisions would be good.
Okay, wonderful. Are there any other board comments or thoughts on this? All right, well, we will look forward, Natalia, to receiving the thoughts that your group has put together, so thank you so much. And as promised, I would like to invite you, if you'd like, you may exit the meeting now if you don't want to stay for the rest of it. That was allowed you to leave on the agenda.
Yes. You can stay if you want.
You can certainly stay. All right, we will move on. Thank you, Natalia. We will move on to our action items. The first one being the adoption of the 2026-27 school calendar. Are there any questions or comments about this item?
I have a couple questions
Sure, of
on
course.
the school calendar. So comparing last school year to this school year, the start date is later. And I recall a conversation, I may be recalling it wrong, but 130 was aligning with 218's calendar. So like last summer was kind of shortened to allow the aligning. Is it moved back so now they fully align? I sure hope I said that right since it's recorded.
Actually, Carrie, led the calendar committee and met with the meeting groups regarding the proposed calendar, so I'll let her speak to the process of the
So 218 actually starts on August 10th of 2026. That's their Institute Day, and then their first day with students is August 11th. We, looking at their calendar, aligned with them. We proposed 5 different calendars, all of which had different start dates. That Monday of that week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of that week. 218 takes a lot of long weekends off throughout the calendar. So what we did was, and our teachers, we listened to the voices of our teachers, to our parapros, listening to everybody speak, saying that we would like to start later in the school year. So in accordance and trying to align both of them, we could still start on that Friday with Teacher In-Service Day, which is apparent on the calendar right here. The same week that 218 starts, it's just would be our teachers come back. Then the very next Monday, we start our full day with our students. We would still be on track then with everything 218 does. 218 will get out the 27th of May. We will get out the 28th of May. We will graduate on the Tuesday of that week in May. They will graduate on that Wednesday that week in May. So again, we're just taking out like a lot of their longer weekends that they added. We do have some, but we don't have quite as big as what 218 placed. Again, listening to the feedback from the district, really hearing the voices of, can we start later? Can we start later? We didn't want to start so early. That would also, if you do look at this, if we did start on the 10th, that would put New Teacher Academy the very first week of August, getting nobody any kind of break whatsoever right before school started. So that's why this ended up the way it did. Did I answer your questions, I hope?
You did, but I've got more. So you want to stay standing? I hope I wrote this down right. The first day of school is August 17th?
Correct.
And it's a late start day?
Yes.
Why?
Okay, so in the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, the negotiations this year, the teachers decided that they loved it so much last year. It was a mistake. We weren't supposed to have the resource day. We just started on that Wednesday, and we happened to have research hour. But to our mistake was everybody's benefit because they loved the fact that they got to come in, make sure everything was ready to go, that their first days were set for an hour before the students came, and then the students came. So with that being said, with the negotiations and what we did is bargaining at the table, they said, can that first day be a modified day? Just to get that, like, students not here for that full time, shorter time frame, get used to getting the kids inside, getting them seated, and then proceeding the day. So now the collective bargaining agreement says next year, the year after that, they're going to have a modified day for the first day of school.
All right, so just to be clear, it is a late start day, so that just shortens all the classes throughout the day then. So it allows everyone to come back to welcome to school
Yes.
and hopefully focus better on Tuesday.
And actually, too, just so you know, as a former principal teacher, as you heard in my speech, it is very hard for these kiddos to come in and start their routine again, especially the little ones. So one of the things that they do on the very first day of school is they really don't go through their normal day of school. What they're doing is they're actually going from station to station and they're learning how to do the rules, the school behavior, PBIS things. So shortening that day helps with everybody. It's a mutual agreement. The kids benefit from it and the teachers benefit from it.
Thank you.
Any more?
I'm not done yet.
Okay. I'm ready.
Very good. So the end of May, the 25th and the 28th are both half days. So it's half day, full day, half day. Is that part of the collective bargaining agreement?
So, no, but traditionally the last day of school is always a half day. And traditionally, graduation is always a half day. However, it's not a half day for all of our employees. So our employees come to work all day long, and our students do leave because of it being graduation. We normally have the middle school students leave as well as the teachers. They come back then for graduation to extend their day. The elementary school students, they leave for a half day, but the teachers stay the whole time, and they have to prepare and do basically a small in-service so that they're ending their year. So they do stay for a full 6.5 hour day. Yes, so that's the history behind it. We've always done it that way, so will that answer your?
I truly don't know, even as a parent. I get the calendar, I'm like, you go to school today, I don't know. So it is tradition to do like that half, I think it's half and late start and then, is that what it is? It's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yes, it's normally the way it falls in the calendar. So if we are graduating on that Tuesday, it would be that we couldn't graduate. It was suggested that we go on the Tuesday because it didn't want to confuse any parents for the late start Wednesday. So this way we could still have the late start Wednesday and go about our day. It would be right after graduation. Easier for teachers to come back after graduation, being here all day long, to start a little later with the kiddos.
Would it, I'm just throwing it out there, conversation is welcome when appropriate, because I'm just, is it feasible to just, I think a half day to full day and a half day gets very confusing for people, and we're all kind of done with school at the end of May, getting ready for vacation, whatever. Is it possible to just do a full day, so like that Monday and Tuesday, and not have school?
Okay, so to answer that question, so graduation for Eisenhower is on the 27th, it's a Thursday. We can't graduate the same day if we wanted to ever use their facilities or do anything. Besides the fact of parents being very angry at the fact that if they have a kid graduating at Eisenhower and we have a graduation over here on the Nathan Hale campus for our kiddos, it can't be at both. That would be definitely something that would not be appealing to our parents. So that was that Thursday, that's eliminated, right? In the collective bargaining agreement, we can't have graduation on Friday, ever. So that eliminates that Friday. So then it was do that Wednesday, which we could do that Wednesday for graduation, or that Tuesday. Collectively, the Tuesday stood out and seemed to be a better day to do graduation. We could move it to that Wednesday. That would be something that I could address and I could upload to our easy calendar. No, it's on the 25th this year. Oh, that's the one. This is the one. Sorry. Do you want to talk about it?
No, I just wanted, I mean, I'm a parent, I'm not gonna hide that one, but to make sure like the teachers, like, I guess have the input on this. I do think it's silly, and I'm sorry to offend people, the half day, the late start day, and the half day. Looking at that, it does not make sense to me. Thank you for explaining it, it does a little bit more, but.
I did talk to the president of the union, all of the teachers union, the paraprofessional union, and the secretaries union, and they do go back and give feedback. That's our practice here. So they do take it back to their building reps. They tell them about the calendar, and then they come back with information. Nobody came back with any changes whatsoever. They actually really appreciated that we're starting later in the school year. So, and nobody really commented on that last May, that last week of May.
That's all I needed to hear. Thank you.
I do have a couple questions. I just feel compelled, oh, and I'm sorry, sorry, to speak up for the parents. Again, anytime there's a half day or a late start day that is falling outside of the sort of designated late start days, it is very difficult and confusing for working parents. There's often a sort of a scramble for childcare. These days can go unnoticed on the calendar until they're upon you. Again, going back to the first day of school, why not start on a Wednesday then? Why start on a Monday but make it a late start day? It just seems like a recipe for confusion. Your bus schedules are going to be all off. I truly don't understand it from the perspective of parents and families.
Absolutely, and again, I'm going back from the feedback that I was given to do the calendar and start later. That I did use that as an option to start on that Wednesday. Obviously, same thought process. I have 2 children at home. I was thinking the same thing. Having a different late start day would be very confusing as a parent. Those would be the people that have to make the accommodation. So collectively, I would have to say, and if Ms. Sarah was here, I know that Ms. Windrum also saw it as the president of the BIESPA. They were the ones that gave me the feedback saying that they would rather start later that Friday. So again, it's up to the Board of Education. I could make any adjustments if needed. Just let me know before I submit anything to ISB.
I'm sorry, Ms. Tisch, I do have one more question. I noticed in the schedule we have emergency days built in. Can you please explain to me what an emergency day is if e-learning is now a thing? What constitutes as an emergency that doesn't constitute as e-learning?
Absolutely. So emergency days are for days that we could not, let's say there's, I don't know, I'm going to just throw this out there, but let's say there's a blackout, power outages, we can't actually get on devices to actually do e-learning. You can't do it, the community's down, we can't do anything. So if we can't do that and the weather is inclement, we can't come into to any of the schools, that would be our emergency day. So we would have to take emergency day because no instruction was provided during that time, whether it's electronically and or in person. So those emergency days are there after COVID, very rarely used, but they have to be there. It's part of the mandate that the state asks us to do when we write the calendar.
Are there a max number of e-learning days you're allowed to?
5 and 5. So 5 emergency days, 5 e-learning days.
Right, to be like a ton of bad weather, you can't have 6. So that would be, right?
That would help too. And schools sometimes opt to choose if they want to take an emergency day and not do an e-learning day. So that's up to the Board of Education. That's not for us to decide, so.
Thank you. Yeah.
Are there any other questions on the school calendar? All right. Could you take it to a vote, please, Ms. Martinez?
Do we need a motion, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we do. Yes, we do. May I have a motion to approve the school calendar?
I'll make a motion.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Bainey?
Yes.
Mr. Burmeister here, Mr. Gasner?
Yes.
Ms. Kaliski Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez, yes. Ms. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on now to our 2026 life safety projects. Are there any questions about this agenda item? I actually do have some questions, and I think, Mr. O'Shea, they might be directed toward you, if that's all right. I have some questions about the bid packages. So we had separate bid packages for roofing, windows, masonry. And for each of these packages, we only had 2 companies provide bids for each. I guess my question is sort of, why were there so many no-bid companies listed? And how was this project advertised and posted, such as that we were only getting 2 bids for each package?
Sure. So this was advertised in the paper. Also, our construction manager advertised it themselves. So they advertised it to local vendors in the area, particularly targeting also Crestwood, Lyman, and Robbins. The reason certain companies bid and others didn't is because the previous projects companies did here. There was pending litigation against the district, so they should have not bid based on what happened with that. Of course, word gets around. So with roofers, window contractors, and masons, they all talk, and that is why you have bidders you have in front of you.
Okay. So it was publicly posted, though?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, excellent. And I have another question. This is super sort of specific, but on the project budget, there was a line called General Conditions Staff, and the amount on that line was $51,960. Could you tell me, what does this line encompass?
That's typically for support staff on the construction management side. So for this project, they have a site superintendent, they'll have a foreman, and then any support staff that they supply to do project management. So it could range from 2 to 3 people. And that's really just the cost of their windshield time to come here, check on the site. They do reports through Procore, which is a software that we have access to that gives us daily updates.
Okay, thank you. And then just a final question here. Given that the district has an architect, what are the specific services that Shamrock is providing to the district?
So the architect is obviously the one that does the design plan and the build phase and construction management and the actual project. So instead of meeting on site daily, based on what has happened here previously in the district with other health and safety projects in the issue and the construction manager is the direct contact. They bear all the responsibility if something goes south. So if something happened, obviously if there's litigation, the district can directly hold the construction manager accountable as well as the architect, instead of the architect saying, that's not my purview, that's not my problem. You just bring somebody else into the fold to oversee the project.
And so is Shamrock a construction manager on retainer? And apologies for if you've answered that previously.
How is it set up, Lucy?
Well, we have a contract with, Shamrock Construction. They are our construction manager for the district. And they are bonded as well.
Okay. And they're on retainer? Do we have an agreement with them?
We have an agreement that was approved by the board.
Okay. Would you mind sharing, could Dr. McKay, could you share that agreement with the board again? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions about the life safety bids? All right, hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the life safety bid project? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Ms. Martinez, could you take it to a vote, please?
Mr. Baining?
Yes.
Mr. Gasner?
Yes.
Ms. Galinski Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez, yes. Ms. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, thank you. Moving on, our next agenda item is partnership with EAB. And we do have Mr. Rising here to answer any questions that we might have about this proposed partnership. Are there any questions before we have the motion? I feel like I'm talking a lot this evening. I do have a few questions, so thank you so much for being here. Can you tell me how EAB guarantees sort of privacy and anonymity for soliciting authentic feedback from employees?
Yeah, so the work that we essentially do, and we'll start with the district, and by the way, we're excited to be doing this work with you. First of all, it's a collaborative effort. So it'll first start out at the district level, working with leadership, building leaders, ensuring they're aligned to support staffing and all employee groups on morale, retention, and recruitment. From there, what we do is we pull together the individual employee groups and have discussions with them, and we build that all into, kind of the process moving forward, of what you saw kind of at the beginning as far as how we look into that to look at challenges, policies, procedures. Based on what we learn from each of the groups that we have discussions with and how we go forward, is essentially, the strategies that we roll out that we've done with dozens, if not hundreds of districts now across the country, We led the professional development where we were hearing that there are existing challenges. Because ultimately what EAB wants to do is not have you hire us back for this work 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. We want to ensure that this is rolled out intentionally and with fidelity across the whole district. Did that answer your question?
It did, yes, thank you. Can you tell me how would EAB support sort of leadership transitions and change management within a district?
Great question, because I know you're in the process of being a superintendent.
Yeah.
So EAB works across 100+ areas within the K-12 school district system. We have partners that have been with us for 15 years. They're continuously working on their biggest challenges, and oftentimes EAB will arrive to strategic planning. In regards to your question regarding transition, whether it's superintendent or other leadership or even principal leaders, EAB works with districts to ensure that there's smooth transition. In fact, we've got a whole program and process that we go through superintendent transitions, and we can do that with them, work with Dr. McKay as that transition takes place. But that's work we do frequently. So yeah, and that's kind of why, if you looked at the services that we initially prioritized with a lot of the building leaders, the central office, but also starting to work with morale, retention, and recruitment. We kind of left that third one open because we often find that something rises to the surface. And I will give you an example. Just this past week, the AASA conference was in Nashville. That's the superintendent's conference. EAB presented, it was one of the featured presentations on our morale work with 2 of our Illinois districts. One of the districts who is 2 years into this work now, we had 2 districts with us from Illinois, 5 years into the work and 2 years into the work. The issue that came and rose to the top as far as what we heard from employee groups was the absenteeism issue. That rose to the top. So we focused our work in that third area of working on absenteeism and addressing that based on what EAB is learning through the research and what we've done with multiple districts.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Are there any other questions?
You'd be a multi-millionaire if you could figure out how to treat absenteeism.
We've had some pretty good success, I will tell you. But it is a struggle, I'm not gonna lie. But we've got multiple case studies out there that shows the success we've had, and even here in Illinois. So maybe that's what we're thinking for.
All right, are there any other questions? All right, hearing none, thank you so much. May I have a motion to approve the partnership with EAB?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Can I make the second? All right, I will second. Could you take it to a vote, please?
Mr. Daning? Mr. Gasner?
Yes.
Ms. Gillespie Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez, yes. Ms. McGinnis?
No.
Mr. Werner?
All right, so motion passes? Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to item D, prioritization 1, door project proposal. Are there any questions about this item? And as a reminder, this is the phase 1 door project proposal that our architect presented at the last board meeting in January. I do have a question, and I think Mr. O'Shea maybe directed toward you. As if this item is approved tonight, could you tell me what the sort of the next steps and timeline look like?
The architect would start building the packages, so they would have to go around to every individual door and measure it. The environmental services would be involved and test out caulk around doors to make sure that they're not hot for asbestos. And then over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks, they would build a bid package put out for a public bid.
Over the next 16 weeks, you said, or
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8. Thank you. All right. Are there any other questions? May I have a motion to approve? Sorry, let me read it officially. The prioritization 1 door project proposal.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second
All right, roll call please, Ms. Martinez.
Mr. Daney?
it.
Mr. Gasner?
Yes.
Ms. Felicity Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez, yes. Ms. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, thank you very much. Moving on to item E, this is our therapy dog program approval. Do I have a motion to approve proceeding with an exploration of the therapy dog program?
What's that involved? Have we, this is just thinking about it, or there comes a lot of liability with this program. We gotta make sure we got some things wrapped around in place so that, we have a place where it's housed at, who's gonna get it if they leave, if they have to pay us.
Sure, excellent questions. Dr. McKay, I think I might look to you to respond, please.
So, to approve the exploration of the therapy dog program, we would have to obviously explore the different programs that are available. The one that was presented at the board meeting last month is one option. We would have to obviously look at, like you said, how the district would retain the dog. In that particular, the individual who takes the dog would be the owner of the dogs. We're going to look at other options, insurance liability, the employee that would have the dog and their ability to be mobile around the district, if there's allergies. There's all kinds of things. This would really just open the door for us to begin the exploration to present all of those components to the board prior to ever buying the dog tags. So this will not happen overnight. I think this will take a bit of time to do. We do have a committee. I'm not going to call it Paw Patrol, but we do have a committee that is together that has already started to kind of discuss what our options are, to kind of lay out we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's several programs in schools around the United States, and you can certainly explore how they've done it, so we don't have to start from scratch, but we do have some committee members that have already come together to start to explore what this would look like.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm all for the program. I just want to make sure that we're covered in how it's going to be handled and rolled out here. We just don't want to bribe you with Mr. Claus and, program's covered.
So I did see the presentation, but is one of the options that's being explored, like the possibility of hiring ABC Dog Company and just having them come in once a month and visit, these 3 schools, and then they visit these 3, whereas I guess the request for the exploration to go with this company, and one of us lovely people sitting here now owns a dog.
Yeah, so obviously, Mr. Farr was on the committee. I think we've just at this point just come to the table to discuss what our possible options are, what our next steps are. I always think about, when I was in the 4th grade, we had a bunny. At Christmas time, the teachers always, who's going to take the bunny home? And I go home and ask them, no, we're not bringing the bunny home. So we obviously want to be very wise in how we adopt a dog in the district, whether it's an employee who is the caretaker of the dog or if it's a company that comes in. But I don't know where that's stage yet. I think we just talked about the options.
Yeah, we are in infancy stages. Nothing has been settled upon.
You let it wrong guy.
He wants a donation.
Yeah. They need to come and kid.
Are there any other questions? All right. Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the therapy dog program approval, which is an exploration of the therapy dog program?
I'll make the motion.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Roll call, please, Ms. Martinez.
Mr. Daney? Mr. Gasner?
Yes.
Ms. Kaliski Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez, yes. Ms. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, thank you. Our next agenda item, these are informational items. Are there any questions or comments about the informational items listed on the agenda?
I just wanted to make a quick comment for the PBIS reports and just say, I think the principals, the teachers, the admins of the school, you are all doing an amazing job and are getting so stinking creative. And the incentives, it's very clear an 8th grader is not incentivized the same way a 4th or 5th grader is. I'm talking about dress down passes. 8th grader, at least mine, not incentivized by that. But I love the creativity that's going behind it, and like the Olympics were just like part of that, just fun things to get the kids wanting to be in the buildings. I know Whittier had done decorate your teacher with love. I may have said that wrong. Just fun little things. It's really enticing the kids to want to come to school, and who doesn't want to dye their teacher's hair or put tattoos on their teacher was one thing too. So thank you all for being so creative, and it's lots of fun to see what our kids are deciding to do.
Any other questions or comments? I'll just note, I'd love to see the articulation with District 218 really picking up steam this year and last year, I know. So really happy to see a lot of detail around that item. All right. Hearing no other questions or comments, we'll move on to our routine reports. For the President's report, I just have a couple comments. Really, I'd just like to share, I think as I've often said, this is sort of a new experience for me, being board chair. So there's certainly been a learning curve, and I always appreciate everyone's grace and patience in the meeting. Really, I am a parent first and foremost, and I'm just here to represent parents. And really what I've been most interested in my time here is the need for openness and transparency, and for accountability, so that our families and our public feel like there are voices and advocates for them in the room. So I feel very strongly about this, that this is the reason the board is here, is to advocate for our families in the district. That being said, I am always available to anyone in the community who would like to share ideas or concerns in good faith and with good intention. And that's an open offer to parents, district staff, fellow board members, whoever. So I am here as a resource for you. And then just a quick search update for the superintendent search. At the last board meeting, the board engaged School Exec Connect to help manage our superintendent search process. So at our working board meeting in March, we will be kicking that off with School Exec Connect, meeting to discuss a concrete search timeline and next steps. So I do expect we'll be having a lot more sort of regular routine updates as we move into the spring. That is it for my report. Dr. McKay, over to you, please, for your superintendent's report.
Thank you. I want to congratulate Alma on the recent media coverage highlighting the district's Family First Early Childhood program and the work that staff is doing to support our families in our communities. I did copy the Board of Education on the article this morning. Schools across the district are recognizing Black History Month through age-appropriate instructional activities and school-based events. I did put a little calendar in your last email to kind of give you a guide as to what's going on where and when, if you are available. The 5 Essentials survey window is currently open, and schools continue their efforts to support participation in accordance with what is required. Some of our schools are running neck and neck with student and parent responses, which is fun for us internally. And we are in preparation is underway for our upcoming state assessments, which are the IAR, ISA, and IAA, which will the spring testing window is fast approaching in March and April. So we'll be hearing, we'll be seeing Parent Square different updates regarding that.
Thank you. Moving on to committee reports. Bill, would you like to give a report out on the policy committee?
Not much was that.
All right, well, policy committee did meet just before the board meeting today, and we went over the Press Plus updates, which were included as the consent agenda, so the board did receive that information. Anything else, Bill? All right. Any other I don't think there were any other committees that I met. We'll move on to communications from our union reps. First up, BIEA. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to BIESBA Local 430.
Thank you. At this time, we do not have any concerns or anything, but I do want to thank Ms. Howard for setting me up today. And this is part of our program, so, you know, we can work to it, so thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on, we'll do BIESBA Local 330. All right, SEIU Local 73.
Would you like us to?
Yeah, at the podium, please. Thank you. It's a little easier to hear.
Understood. I wanted to speak a little bit about a couple of concerns. Subject of negotiations came up earlier. The couple of board members and there were some comments that our concerns were not based on accurate information. I wanted to share with you some concerns about the delays and so on that we've experienced in negotiation. I've mentioned it before. So just so you understand, our first session of negotiations was July 31st. The next time the employer was willing to meet was August 28th, a month later. That meeting was canceled because the employer team needed more time. We did meet September 11th, so that's from July 31st to September 11th before we met a second time. We did meet then again that month, September 25th. That meeting was actually canceled. Sorry, we did not meet. We had scheduled that meeting. This continues. I won't go through the whole 6 months that up until last month when we asked for mediation. But in those 6 months, we only met 8 times. And each time only for 2 hours, which is really not enough time given the amount of proposal the employer put on the table. I want to say that I've negotiated contracts with several other school districts over time. Sometimes I've reached an agreement in 3 sessions, sometimes only 2 months. Those contracts sometimes are ratified unanimously. I've experienced delays, of course, in my experience, negotiating contracts with school districts, cancellations in the past, but I've never seen anything like this. For one thing, the employer proposed 4 pages on sick leave alone. 4 pages just on sick leave. Completely rewriting huge sections of the contract. I won't go into the details. We don't want to negotiate with you over any specific thing in this forum. I want you to understand that our complaints are well-founded, not unfounded. We had one of the members of our bargaining team initially denied access to attend negotiating sessions. The union had to discuss an unfair labor practice with the employer to get that person included in bargaining. That person had participated in the last contract negotiation without any concern. And he worked the same shift then that he works now. Mr. Gassmer mentioned our information requests. Yes, we made a lot of information requests. And one of those beginning sessions, the employer made a lot of surprising claims. I won't go into the details. There were a lot of them. We asked for information to support those things. good faith. We didn't get that information for weeks. We did ask that the employer should give us what information they could as they managed to find it, let us know if there were any concerns, but instead, all of it was held until the day of negotiations. The employer then took valuable time out of the 2 hours that we have to meet to go through each item and explain its relevance to the information request. I offer this to you only as an example so that you understand that our concerns are well-founded. They're not based on nothing. We're not making this up. But the union stands ready to negotiate in good faith to reach a mutually beneficial agreement. That remains true. But this is a dance of two partners. We need the district's cooperation. And we are hopeful.
So thank you for the second opportunity to speak. So just for clarification, Ricky is the negotiator, and I'm the rep for the unit because of transition. So he started before I started with SEIU 73. Started in September, so he'd already been bargaining for a couple months with Blue Island. So we thought for continuity, we'll continue that until they finish, and that's happening in several of my units where other people are covering. And I'm supporting during those negotiations. But it's not like this anywhere else. I have cordial conversations with superintendents, HR directors. I have 30 other units that I work with, schools that I visit.
All right, thank you. Moving on, our next agenda item is closed session. This evening, we are going into closed session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of employees, collective negotiation matters between the district and its employees or their representatives, evidence or testimony presented to a school board regarding denial of admission to school events and property, the setting of a price for the sale or lease of property, the sale or purchase of securities, investments, or investment contracts, security procedures, school building safety and security, and or the use of personnel and equipment to respond to safety, student disciplinary cases, the placement of individual students in special education programs, pending litigation, establish reserves or settle claims, classification and discussion of confidential matters, and discussion of minutes in closed session. May I have a motion, please, to go into closed session for these stated reasons?
I'll make a motion.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. A roll call, please, Ms. Martinez.
Mr. Bainey?
Yes.
Mr. Gasner?
Yes.
Ms. Kaliski Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez, yes. Ms. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, thank you.
All right, do I have a motion, please, to return to open session?
I'll make a motion.
A second? Sorry,
Lost the page.
no worries. I'll second. All right, a roll call, please.
Hold on a second. You're good.
Mr. Bainey?
Yes.
Mr. Gasner?
Yes.
Ms. Kaliski Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez? Yes.
All right, it's 9:20, we're back in open session. Couple of action items now following our closed session discussion. May I have a motion to approve the superintendent's evaluation 5 ILCS 120/2C1?
I'll make the motion.
And do I have a second? All right, I'll roll call, please, Ms. Martinez.
Mr. Bainey?
Yes.
Mr. Gasner?
Yes.
Ms. Kaliski Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez? Yes. Motion approved.
All right, thank you. Moving on, may I have a motion, please, to uphold the hearing determination for student SY 2026-02 and authorize the superintendent to issue said notice to the student's parent or guardian.
Make a motion.
I have a motion and a second, I think I heard. Roll call, please.
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mr. Gasner?
Yes.
Ms. Closkey Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez? Yes. Motion approved.
All right, and then may I have a motion, please, to approve our consent agenda item J, the resolution 2026-071, approving the school year 26-27 employment contracts of administrative non-union personnel.
Hang on, I'm sorry, I lost my page.
No problem, it's the,
No, for, I don't know, I don't know about.
can you just kind of write it maybe under the student suspension?
I'll make the motion.
This was for just to approve 7J.
Yes. We have a motion from Mr. Bain, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
I'm sorry.
No words.
Mr. Bain? Mr. Gasner? Ms. Closkey Roll?
Yeah.
Ms. Martinez, yes. Motion approved.
All right, excellent. Since there's no further business, may I have a motion, please, to adjourn the meeting?
Motion adjourned.
Second?
Second.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mr. Gasner?
Yes.
Ms. Closkey Roll?
Yes.
Ms. Martinez? Yes. Motion approved.
All right, 9:23, thank you.